Hi and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to show you how to create these beautiful stained mason jars. What you will need is a few different mason jars, white spray paint, the one that I'm using is not glossy, a hot glue gun, alcohol ink applicator, and alcohol ink. The first step is getting your mason jars prepped. Here I'm just showing you that there's different kinds. This one actually has a regular screw-on cap. And I like the fact that they have different patterns, but that's just me. If you go to Michael's or Joann's, you can find them where they're all the same. This particular mason jar has the traditional tops where there's two parts to it. This actually was a jelly jar. I got it from my mother-in-law. So I'm not sure if you're going to be able to find the same exact ones, but this one has a really cool triangle diamond shaped onto it. This little one is actually really cute. It has grapes and like little fruits stamped onto it, but I'm going to use it anyway because I really like it and it's the perfect size for what I'm going to use it for. Make sure that your hot glue gun is nice and hot, and you want to grab the main part of the top and just put a very thin layer of hot glue all the way around. I don't suggest putting a lot because when you do stick this part in like this, the glue will come off on the top, and I did have that happen with one of them, so I had to redo it. Like you see right now, I'm kind of trying to fix it, but I had to ended up taking it out and redoing it. But you want to make sure that the tops are one full piece. Here's a close-up of what I did just so you guys can get a better idea. I suggest letting these dry for about an hour. You want to make sure that it's really nice and stuck, and you also want to make sure to apply a lot of pressure while the glue is still warm. Next thing is to spray paint the tops of the mason jars, and I'm using this spray paint, and it's not really glossy, but it's not really matte either. And I'm using these wooden dowels just to keep the tops up from the bag that I taped to the floor. Just because if you've ever spray painted and you spray paint something on a flat surface, it'll get like a really weird like rim around it where it's like gets stuck to whatever it is you're spray painting it over. The next thing you want to do is grab your alcohol ink. I'm using Wild Plum. It's a very pretty purple color. And you want to make sure to have all your supplies ready with, and this is the alcohol ink applicator, and they sell this at Michael's and stuff. I think it's like $4.99, but you can get coupons, you can get them for fairly cheap. Next, you want to make sure that all your jars are fairly clean. I just wipe them down with a wet paper towel. You don't want to use any kind of chemicals. And next, you just want to grab your alcohol ink and you want to start putting the actual alcohol ink onto the ink pad. If you saw my granite inspired coasters, it's basically the same thing, and I'll have that link down below if you're interested. That's also using alcohol inks, but it's using multiple colors to make a granite effect. But you want to basically do the same thing with one color. And if you're going to use mason jars that are flat, there's no pattern or design on them, it will be easier for you to get an even coat. When you are using ones with patterns like I am or designs on them, it is a little more difficult and you have to take more time to make sure that the alcohol ink is getting in between the little nooks and crannies. But it doesn't really take that long. You can apply several coats of it too if you want to make it darker. And you want to let this dry overnight, I would say, before you add another coat, just to make sure, because sometimes I noticed when I was doing that, if I went over the same area a lot, I would start taking some of the ink off. But, I mean, if you want to wait a few hours, then that's fine too, but I suggest waiting overnight. It's really easy, and you can also use, I believe, like makeup sponges, like little wedges. You can use that to apply it too, and that would probably get into the little nooks and crannies a little bit better. This is another mason jar that I'm doing, and this one you can see only has pattern or design on one side of it, so you can see exactly how the alcohol ink applies to a solid base. For all three of my mason jars, I am using the same felt little applicator. They last a pretty long time. You can use them over and over again multiple times. If you like, you can also change them out. When you actually buy the actual stamp applicator, it comes with quite a few of the felt pieces already cut out for you. But instead of buying the brand's felt applicators, you can actually just buy an 8.5 by 11 sheet of felt paper at any craft store for a couple cents and just cut them yourself, and it's a lot cheaper. That's just a suggestion. But if you're willing to pay for the other ones, then go ahead and do that. And you hear my little bird in the background. I'm sorry about that. A little bit of the alcohol ink actually goes a really long way, so I wouldn't apply more alcohol ink to the applicator unless you absolutely have to and you've noticed that the color is starting to wear off a lot. One thing that you can do with the alcohol ink, it's basically what works best for you. I've done it where I've patted it like you're seeing here. I've swiped it back and forth and it works. Different techniques give it a different look. So whatever you find that you like, just play around with it. It's super easy. I mean, alcohol ink is pretty much permanent, but I mean, if you have just random pieces of glass, or you can go to the dollar store even and just buy a couple pieces of glass, cups, plates, and just play around with it, you can learn a lot of really cool techniques and you can get a lot of different looks from just using alcohol inks. Of course, like many of my DIYs, they're completely custom. I just prefer doing one color because I'm actually redoing a room in my house and it's going to be a purple and white room. So that's why I basically did this purplish pink color. But if you want to have a multicolored mason jar, then that's perfectly fine. Like I said earlier in the video, I will have a granite inspired video posted down below if you're interested in looking at it. You can create that same look on these mason jars or on cups or on any kind of vases. You can create the same look. I suggest if you're going to go out and buy this, if you don't have it already, to go ahead and find coupons. You can get 50% off where 3 of the alcohol inks will only cost you around $5 and the pad will only cost you around $2. This is my completed mason jars, and I did add the ribbon and the bow, and I have a video on how to do that linked down below if you're interested. I thought I would show you what I'm going to use them for, and I'm going to use one for cotton swabs. I'm going to use another one for the round cotton pads, and the third one I'm going to use for cotton balls. This is going to go around my makeup desk, so I was going to show you that this little one fits perfect, the round cotton pads, and I use those to use my toner and my cleanser, so it's very handy to have them, displayed in a really nice way. The medium one I'm actually going to use for cotton swabs. It's the perfect length. I mean, I can fit quite a few. And obviously, cotton swabs are used to clean out your ears. I use them to help me if I make a mistake with my makeup. And sometimes I've even used them to help me apply makeup to certain small areas. The biggest one, I'm using it for cotton balls. Obviously, this one would fit the most, and I use cotton balls for a lot of different things. I use them to remove makeup, like I said before. I've used them obviously to change nail polish, to add toner to like a certain area, to add medicine, like if you have acne or something like that, to a certain area. That's what I would use them for. The idea of how to display them is to use a cake display like this one. You can get them at TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Walmart has them. You can get them for fairly cheap. But I'm putting mine on top of my Alex 9 drawer, and it's just somewhere where they're easy to reach and they look really pretty. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe.